It's time now for today's press review, and I'm joined on set by Emily Boyle. Emily, you're starting us off with the U.S. papers. What do you have for us?
Well, one story in particular is getting quite a lot of coverage. Let's have a look in the New York Times. The paper reports here that the Justice Department is reportedly opening a criminal inquiry into EJeanCarroll over her Trump lawsuits. Now, as a reminder, Carroll accused US President Donald Trump of raping her in the 1990s, and she went on to win nearly $90 million in civil judgments against him, both for defamation and sexual assault. Let's have a look in the Atlantic. It says that the move is brazen. It's evidence once again that Donald Trump has no issue with politicized justice. He just wants it on his side. Now, this inquiry focuses on whether Carroll committed perjury during her testimony related to those lawsuits. This article points out, though, that the move comes only a few days after Trump created a $1.8 billion fund to reward his political allies. Let's have a look at the Independent in the UK here, also talking about this, of course, this morning. It worries that this retribution campaign could risk silencing other accusers. Advocates for survivors of sexual assault argue that this investigation is a striking example of why accusers don't come forward in the first place. One expert said, quote, "The case not only sets out to exact revenge on a successful plaintiff, but also to silence others." Now, finally, on this story, let's have a look at Vox here, the website, also covering the story. It looks at what we can learn from this, and the article says that Trump's war on his enemies keeps running into the same problem, quotes, his incompetent attorneys, the jury system, and the genuine independence of America's lower court judges. The article says that this is an authoritarian abuse of power, but that it might be a less scary situation than everyone is expecting.
Definitely a case to follow. Emily, turning here to France next, there's been some controversy about the way this latest heat wave has been covered by some media outlets.
Yeah, let's have a look at the front page of the French paper Libération here this morning. Its front page here, as we can see, it calls it, the headline reads, C News, so one of France's channels, breathes fake and cold, or hot and cold. The paper explains that the extreme heat we are experiencing has highlighted the normalization of climate disinformation on Vincent Bolloré's television channel, C News, on the front page there. The paper actually has a two-pager on this topic that we can have a look at here. As a reminder, billionaire Vincent Bolloré has been in the news quite a lot recently, namely for his ideological takeover of French culture and media. His flagship news channel is C News, as I mentioned, which has, quote, lost all reason, according to Libé. The paper says that despite claiming to recognize climate change, the channel is constantly peddling content which denies human responsibility, attacks climate experts, or plays down the fact that 35 degrees is not a normal temperature to have in May. Meanwhile, The Guardian features an article here referring to statements made by the UN's environment chief, which said that burning of fossil fuels was driving these intense heat waves. France and the UK have been seeing record-breaking temperatures for 2 days in a row now, and the UN says it's a brutal reminder of the spiralling impacts of the climate crisis.
Yeah, it has been brutally hot here, especially for the month of May. And the hot temperatures, Emily, have also had repercussions in the world of sports.
Yeah, as we know, it's the French Open going on right now, or Roland-Garros as it's better known. Let's have a look at the Équipe here. It calls it a land of fire, or even a clay oven, and features a photo of the new French star, Moïse Kouamé, who crumbled to the floor after getting through to the third round of the competition. One player who also crumbled and didn't make it through to the next round was Jannik Sinner, the world #1, struggled through his game, ultimately crashing out of the tournament. And the heat is to blame in many cases. Wired looks at why it's almost too hot to play tennis at the French Open. It looks at what is known as the wet bulb globe temperature. It's basically a way of measuring the impact of heat on the human body, and it takes into account conditions like temperature, humidity, solar radiation and wind. Now, this article explains that people will already start feeling issues at a wet bulb globe temperature of around 30 degrees because sweat doesn't evaporate as efficiently as it does lower the body temperature, at which point the body enters a so-called danger zone. Now, Roland-Garros apparently has a wet bulb globe temperature limit of around 32.2 degrees. But to date, no match has been interrupted for those reasons.
Yeah, I've been wondering why they haven't stopped matches because it looks very hot. Finally, Emily, staying with sports, things also heating up in Budapest. Paris Saint-Germain is getting ready to take on Arsenal in the Champions League final.
Yeah, expect fireworks tomorrow evening. Let's have a look at L'Équipe here. It reports that 74% of French people are feeling pretty confident that PSG is going to win the Champions League. But The Athletic reports that other people are also feeling confident. For instance, Arsenal's Kai Havertz. Now, the German has already scored a winning goal in a Champions League final, albeit for Chelsea, but he hopes to come in clutch again for Arsenal in the Champions League final tomorrow evening. Meanwhile, Le Parisien reports that Tottenham fans are really keeping their fingers crossed for PSG because some bars in London, Tottenham supporting bars, apparently will be offering discounted beers if PSG win the title tomorrow.
I guess reason to head to London to get some cheap beer if
yeah,
PSG
I'm hoping
wins.
that Paris bars do the same, actually.
That would be nice. Emily, thank you so much, as always, for that look through the papers. That was Emily Boyle with today's press review. Time for us to take a break here on France 24, but stay with us if you can. We'll have more news coming up in a few minutes.